Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Now today we'll be talking about this popular song that has been making its rounds on social media. It has millions of views. I personally have listened to it about 4 or 5 times daily. So I wanted to analyze it to see what's so relatable about this song. Why are so many persons going crazy about it? And I decided I'm gonna dive into it from both perspectives, from the perspective of people who are going through seasonal depression, and as well as from the perspective of the friends. So let's go. Let's talk a bit about Livianka. I like to find out the background of people. I found out that she's only 21 years old. She was born in the United States, but her family is from Cameroon, and she also spent some time living in Cameroon. She also participated in The Voice in 2019. So yeah, that's it about her. In some parts of the song, she actually paid a tribute to her roots. So let's dive into it and see what we can find out from the lyrics of this song. So the first part of the song pretty much talks about this person drinking alcohol for 5 days and not having anyone check up on her or looking for her. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is why is it that people drink alcohol when they're going through depression, when they're stressed? And that's simply because alcohol is a depressant. It makes you feel relaxed, in a different mood. It makes you not think about your problems temporarily. But when that wears off, it's like you go back to the problem. So it's not a solution per se, it's more like of a quick fix. And then we talk about the 5 days, like someone being distant for 5 days and not have anyone check up on them. That's weird. And I'm just curious to know if she's talking about her family or if she's just talking about her friends. Because if it's both, then it's scary. And I know that it's not talking, maybe it's not personal to the person that sings the song. Why is it that when people disappear, sometimes if no one checks up on them? It could be that sometimes some people have the personality of disappearing when they're going through things and they don't want anyone to talk to them or to reach out to them. So probably the friends have gotten to the point where they're okay, that's how she is, she'll get over it, she'll come around. Or it could very well be that sometimes the people around us don't really realize sometimes how many days have passed without them really hearing from us or communicate with us. And that is why it's important to have like really close friends too, so that if your other friends don't really pick up that something is wrong, then at least one or two of them should pick up that something is wrong. This person this is not sharing as much as she used to. She's not texting. She'll usually reach out to me or text. So as a friends too, we have to be more aware or to study our friends to realize or to pick up when something is wrong, because sometimes they probably don't want to share or they're afraid or embarrassed to share. Okay, so she moves on to say, my eyes are red and I don't smoke banga. Now, banga is what they call cannabis in Cameroon. And I'm thinking, if you know that your friend doesn't smoke and you see that your friend's eyes are really red, and that's like a sign that something is not right. And her eyes being super red means that she was crying a lot. And if I mean, if something is so evident and no one really cared to ask, or maybe they just asked but they didn't they maybe they asked but they didn't care to listen to what you're saying, then that too is also a red flag for friendship, for family, whatever it is. And I think probably too that's one of the reasons why she wasn't so open or willing to open up to them, because she probably gave them signs or hints here and there, but they never picked up. So she probably just think, okay, they don't care. And at one point too in the video, she showed where like she got dressed up to meet her friends and they came in the room, and it's like everyone was there talking and having a good time, and it's like they were kind of blurred out, because it's like even though they were there, they weren't really there, because she still felt alone even though she was in a room filled with people. And that's something that happens all the time, because if you're with people that you feel like you can't relate to, they don't understand you, they don't really care about the deepest things that you're going through, then you can still feel lonely while they were there. And another part of the video showed that, she got dressed and prepared for them and they all canceled, which I'm not sure if she's like showing like a double scenario, or maybe two different occasions, or maybe one was just in her mind, she was just imagining that they were there when they were not there. But that too, it's like it's crazy that she was at a vulnerable point and she was hoping that, people, her friends, even though they probably weren't the most intuitive, observant, or caring, but she probably hoped that at least they would show up, so that she wouldn't feel like, she's all alone in this world. But didn't work. The next line says, nobody knows the paranoia. And, when someone is paranoid, is that like they feel like they're threatened by something that's not really there, or being fearful, like feel like you're being threatened, but there's no real evidence that you are. It's all up here. So I'm wondering if it is that she was taking on excessive stress, or things that were not necessary for her to be stressing about, which we all do. It's like we are just living in a world where you're just fearful, like, oh my gosh, what if that happened? What if that happens? Oh no, I'm scared of doing that because, oh, and then you just go into a whole phase where you just start to go down, and you start to be mentally absent, and it's just too much for someone to carry. So I'm thinking that, she says that she's going through this paranoid experience and no one knows about what she's really going through. And I think that is what makes it even harder when you can't really express yourself, because sometimes people say, no, you're just crazy, or why are you stressing about that? But it's real, and a lot of us go through it on a daily basis, and it's good that there's a song that's out there where so many persons can relate to, and to know that, you're not the only person going through it, and there's hope, and there's help too. Maybe if your friends or your family don't understand, there are therapists, there are psychologists, there are people, professional people that are willing to help. Sometimes even a stranger will listen to you and understand you more. Because maybe too they have been through what you're going through. Then she went on to explain it a bit. No one knows the paranoia that she's facing because she puts a smile on her face. I saw a quote once that said, "We are a generation of sad people with happy pictures." And it's so true, because no one wants to really express their emotions, their failures, their deepest feelings of regret, failure to the world. So, when they're having those moments, they tend to hide it, and or just stay away. And when they feel good again, then they'll come out and post a nice happy picture, and everybody thinks, yeah, she has it going on, things are good for her, which in reality that's not the case. And sometimes too, people will put a smile on their face because they just don't want to answer the questions, or they don't want people coming up all the time, oh, what's wrong with you, what's going on? And sometimes it's like the questions hurt more than what you're going through, so you're just like, oh, let me just smile and just fake my way through this. And on the side, the perspective too of your friends and family members, like when you smile and pretend that everything is okay, how will they really know that you're hurting, and how will they be able to understand or help you? So I think it goes both ways, that if sometimes that we are also responsible for expressing ourselves to people who generally care about us, so that they will be able to help us. Then she goes on to say, a facade you can never face. And a facade is pretty much a deceptive outward appearance. So if we replace that definition, it would be a deceptive outward appearance that you can never face. And why is it that we feel the need to live in a facade, to pretend that things are, mostly okay, or they're good when they aren't, when we know in the reality that no one has it as good as it may seem to be. So I don't know why we constantly feel like we have to let people feel like we have it together. And I understand why, because no one wants to feel like a failure. You don't want to feel like the one that, is always going through issues, always having problems. You want to feel like, okay, at least, life has its issues, but at least I'm mostly good. But no, I think the more vulnerable we become, the more we realize how many other persons are going through the same things that we're going through. So I hope that at some point we will get to the stage where we will be able to express ourselves and not be judged too, or at least find a circle that you can be vulnerable in, and not have persons use it against you. And the fact that she said that it's a facade that you can never face. Why can't you face it? Why not? I don't know. I don't have the answer to this one. You could probably let me know below. What do you understand by not being able to face the deceptive outward appearance? Is it that it's something that's inevitable, like you have to fake it, because if you don't fake it, you won't make it? The song goes on to say, if you don't know me well enough, or if you don't know me well, you will not see how buried I am inside my grave. And that's deep. Now, the first part where she says, well, she doesn't say if you don't know me. Say if you don't know me well. And that word makes a very big difference, because some persons will know little bits and pieces about you, but they don't know the real you. They probably know the happy side of you, but they don't know the sad or the depressed side of you. So it's probably hard for them to deal with or to understand when you probably switch on to the other side. So it takes a person that really knows knows your emotions, knows about your emotions, knows about your experiences, sometimes your deepest thoughts. Those are the persons that would really know what's really going on with you. And where she says that she's buried inside her grave, that's deep. She's pretty much saying that she's a walking dead. And we know that there are persons that probably have really traumatic experiences, and they'll probably express to you that they're just existing, they're not living. It means that they probably just do the bare minimum just to get by. They probably wake up, they eat, they sleep, go to work, go to school, whatever it is, and then they come home and it's a repeat, and that's it. They're not really enjoying life. So it's really a sad place to be when it feels like you're existing. And then probably that's why some persons get to the point where they're like, okay, if that's all I'm doing, then it doesn't make sense for me to be here, because I'm not enjoying life, sadly. Because I think that life is beautiful, and even though sometimes it's hard to see the beauty in just, in this world that's full of so much misery, but being alive is still a beautiful thing. And I just want to take this time to encourage someone that's really going through something that's really hard, to really try and look at the beautiful things that are around you. Probably they're not as you would want them to be, but I believe that we can still see the positive side of things, even though they're simple. They say that there's beauty in simplicity, and that's true. The simple things that sometimes are the things that fill you more than the extravagant or sometimes external, superficial things. Yeah, and just to add a little bit to that, sometimes people don't feel like they have a purpose on this earth, because it's like nothing is going right for them. They don't feel like they can relate to people. So it's like, okay, what's the sense of being here? But just know that you have a purpose, you're special, and it doesn't matter how bad it is. There's someone in this world that would be very happy just by meeting you and just having a little conversation. So hold on. Now we move on to the chorus where she said, people, 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 they don't really know you. I know I can't sing, but and I think that this is like her conclusion. Like, this is the conclusion of the whole matter is that people don't really know you. People, and when she says people, who is she talking to? Maybe friends, maybe family, maybe a combination, maybe strangers, nobody. And that's a sad place to be, to feel like you're alone and no one understands you. So why is it that she feels so lonely? Why is it that probably you feel so lonely that no one really understands you? Maybe because people haven't lived your experience. So it's hard for a lot of persons to empathize. They may be able to sympathize, but empathy is a whole deeper thing, and not a lot of persons can do that. Two, maybe they think that they know you. Some persons will actually probably think, oh yeah, I know her, she's my good friend, I know a lot about her, but you ask them a few questions and they probably don't know. Another thing is that people sometimes are just for the good moments, the happy times, the going out, the laughing, the celebration of the wins and stuff like that. But when it comes down to really going through hell with you, a lot of persons won't go up for that position or won't be willing to go through that, because maybe because it's just, they could be that they're a bit selfish and they're not really your true friends, or it could be too that some persons just can't emotionally handle another person's stress or depression because they're going through their own things, right? And another reason could be that people just don't have the time or interest to know anyone so deeply. So it's like, okay, I'm good with just chilling with you here and there, but I don't really care so much to know too much about you. And to be honest, as harsh as it may sound, sometimes we have to try to understand the other person's perspective as well, because everyone is going through something. Everyone is going through something. But what I think we can do is that if we form a support system, if today I'm down and you are up, you help me. If another day I'm up, you're down, I help you up. Because sometimes too, people just think that, oh, they're the only person's going through it, oh, you need to be there, check out for me, look for me. But what about the other person? Are you doing that too to other persons when they're going through their problems? You understand? So it's like, it goes both ways. In Jamaica, we have a saying that goes, one hand cannot clap. So it's like, we have to work together to make this thing work. And it also allows for us to do some introspection. Do we really know our friends? Do we really know our friends? Do we spend time to get to know them? Do we know when they're going through hard times? Are we willing to go through hard times with them? Something for us to think about too. And do our friends really know us? It's something really to think about and to really just analyze and to see how best we can move forward to have better friendships, more meaningful friendships. Now we move on to the meat of the matter. And this is probably my favorite part. It's just where for the first time since the song started, she's actually opening up and being vulnerable. And she's doing this not to a human being, but she's doing it to God. When she says, "Oh, Holy Father," and she actually lifted her hands. It's like, at this point, it's like she's had enough. She doesn't know how to deal with it. So she's just handing it over to someone who is greater than her and someone who sticks closer than a brother. So she's reaching out to God. She's saying her prayer in a simple way. All she's saying is, "Oh, Holy Father, oh, Holy Father." And then she moved on to say she's trying to hold her head, right? That means that she's trying to stay sane. She's trying to not lose it. And then the next part says, "So you don't leave me, Diko." So when I look for Diko, hope I'm pronouncing it right, I think it means like retarded or crazy in probably pidgin language in Cameroon, or the well, whatever language is it in Cameroon. I don't want to say things that aren't necessarily correct. But yeah, she's just saying like, "Dear God, just help me to just keep it together because I don't want to go crazy." And that's pretty much her prayer. And she's just at this point, she's just had enough, and she's like, "Okay, human beings have failed me. I'm turning it over to Jesus." And a lot of us can relate. Some persons watching this probably aren't Christians, they're not religious, and that's fine too. If it is that you have a source and outlet somewhere to just let out your feelings, your emotions, then as long as you're not hurting another person, then by all means do it. But for other persons, turning to God is like sometimes even the last resort, which shouldn't necessarily be. But turning to God is like their way of dealing with their problems and dealing with their issues. And in this case, we see that that's definitely where this person has decided to turn. Just turn to God and just help me. And I know that He hears us all the time. Sometimes He probably won't respond when or how we want Him to, but He definitely sends comfort. And it could be in the form of a song, could be in the form of something that you read online, or in the form of a human being, a stranger too. So I'm just happy that she decided to just hold it and to fight. He continues to say, make you understand. And I think that that's a continuation of the prayer. And I believe that she's saying this because she's like, okay, I'm not really sure how to say this. The words are probably not coming out right or how I want them to. But I just hope you understand. Maybe you just see me crying or the little things that I'm able to say. Maybe you can put all of that together, look at my past experiences, look at what's going on in my mind, and just make sense of it and find a solution for me. And that's just one of the beautiful things, most beautiful things, because there's a popular saying that tears are a language that God understands. So he knows everything that we go through, and we don't have to make sense for it to make sense to Him. And just to add a bit to what all of what I've been saying about the prayer aspect of it, when she says Yahoo girl no they here, I looked for Yahoo girl, and the idea, the gist that I get is that a Yahoo girl will probably be someone who is just giving a summary of things. So when someone says that to give them a Yahoo version, it means that to give them a summary, like a Yahoo news story, Yahoo headline. So for her to be saying that she's a Yahoo girl, it just means that she's just giving a summary of what's going on. There are a lot more things that she'd like to say, but it's hard for her to express it. So this is just the summary. Try to make sense of it and help me. As I bring this analysis to a close, I just wanted to just tap in a bit on something that I observed throughout the song. Realize that the repeat or the chorus, the main aspect of it, the song started with that. Throughout the song, she would put in that aspect, and then to end it, she also mentioned it. So what is she pretty much saying? That she's been drinking, she's been crying a lot, and no one checked in on her, and no one understands her. That's pretty much what she's saying. And it just calls me to think and to reflect, and also to call you guys to action. How well do you know your friends? Is there someone that comes to mind when you started listening to this song? Is there someone that you haven't seen or heard from in a long time? Someone who was pretty much disappeared, that you feel impressed to reach out to the person to offer some amount of support? Are you the one that is going through a difficult time and you just feel like your friends don't understand you? You feel like there's no one you can really reach out to? I would say give it a try. Try to reach out to someone and let them know how you feel. Obviously, taste the waters. I'm not telling you to just go and just say whatever it is or share all aspects of your life with anyone. But I just believe that there's at least one person that you can relate to. And if you feel like you can't find that person in your immediate circle, then probably try and see if you can find a therapist or a professional that will be able to assist you. So I just hope that with all of this being said, that we will be more aware of our surroundings, be more intuitive, be more discerning, and probably, we will be able to help all other persons who are going through things that they're probably afraid to share. So thank you guys. This is where I end the video. Let me know below what you think about this analysis. If there's something you'd like to correct, or If there's something that you'd like to add, definitely do that below in the comment section. And if there's a song that you'd like me to analyze, or anything that you'd like me to analyze, I like to analyze, so you can definitely send it to me. I'm on Instagram, Becoming Bella, and I'm also on Facebook, Becoming Bella. And you can send me an email at becomingbella32@gmail.com. Bye. See ya.